As India was fighting coronavirus, few days back we heard about an incident in Visakhapatnam that their gas leak took place there. And there were images in all around the media about the people falling unconscious and gas emitting out of a building. So this happened in a LG polymer plant, which is in Visakhapatnam, which is in Andhra Pradesh, state of India. So what actually happened? So these were some of the images you can see. This was the LG polymer from where this gas leak was happening. These were some of the images, people rushing here and there and people falling unconscious. So what actually happened? The gas leak was an industrial accident that occurred at a chemical plant in RR Venkatapuram village. So this happened on 7th of May 2020. And the leakage was of styrene gas, which leaked. So this plant was owned by LG, which is a South Korean giant. So this gas leak spread over the radius of 3 kilometers, affecting the nearby area and village. The incident had a death toll of 12 and more than 1,000 people were affected. So what is this styrene gas and what are its applications? This styrene gas is a flammable liquid that is used in the manufacturing of polystyrene, plastic, fiberglass, rubber and latex. So since it deals with polystyrene and plastics and fiberglass, so that is why LG is manufacturing this product. So it is also found in vehicle exhaust, cigarette smoke, and in natural foods like fruits and vegetables to some extent. So this styrene is actually a benzene compound. So it's a derivative of benzene, this styrene. So what happens when exposed to styrene? So when people are exposed to this gas, what happens? Short-term exposure to the substance can result in respiratory problems, irritation in the eyes, irritations in the mucous membrane, and gastrointestinal issues. So long-term exposure, of course, can cause damage to the central nervous system and lead to other problems like peripheral neuropathy and other things. Other things include cancer and depression. So what are the symptoms? How you can say that this person, the particular person, has been exposed to this styrene gas? So symptoms include headache, hearing loss, fatigue, weakness, and difficulty in concentrating. So these are some of the symptoms. Okay. So how India has classified this gas? So IARC in 2018 described this styrene as probable carcinogen. Okay, and carcinogenic means those substances which cause cancer. So is styrene present in water and air? Yes, the traces are found in the water and air and even in the foods, as I said, in some fruits. But when exposed in large quantity, this causes the real problems. The styrene, the permissible limit of this is 0.2 mg per liter in drinking water. So above its exposure leads to the problems that we see in the short-term problems and the long-term problems. So what caused the leak? Styrene monomer was used at the manufacturing plant to produce expandable plastics. The storage requirement of the styrene monomer strictly mentions that it has to be below 17 degrees Celsius. So if you have to store the styrene gas, you have to, the temperature permeable is 17 degrees Celsius. It should be under 17 degrees Celsius. But there was a temporary and a partial shutdown of the plant because of the nationwide lockdown. So when the lockdown happened, so this plant also shut down. The leak occurred as a result of styrene gas not being kept at appropriate temperature. So the permissible temperature, which is the under 17 degree, was not maintained, due to which this leak happened. This caused a pressure buildup in the storage chamber that contains styrene and caused the valve to break, resulting in the gas leakage. And this caused the gas leakage. So when we were watching the news, we were seeing the pictures on the internet. Bhopal gas tragedy was also reminded. People suddenly remember the Bhopal gas tragedy. So, what were the lessons learned? At the time of this Bhopal gas tragedy, Indian Penal Code was the only relevant law specifying criminal liability for such incidents. So, when Bhopal gas incident happened, only act under which such incidents, such owners, such negligence can be tried was IPC. The CBI, which is the Bureau of Investigation, had initially charged the accused in the case under Section 304, which means homicide of the IPC. Tragedy happened, and 2,000 people lost their life, more than 2,000 people in the Bhopal gas tragedy. There were a series of laws that were passed by the government to overcome this. So, what were some of the laws that were passed by the government after Bhopal gas tragedy to avert and punish such type of incidents? First was Bhopal Gas Leak Processing of Claims Act 1985, the Environment Protection Act 1986, the Public Liability Insurance Act 1991, the National Environment Appellate Authority 1997, and the National Green Tribunal 2010. So these were some of the laws that were passed. So the Bhopal Gas Processing of Claims Act 1985. So what it deals with where the trial should take place, how quickly these issues should be resolved, and it powers the central government to secure claims which are connected with this issue of Bhopal gas tragedy, to settle all the claims, the compensation rates with speedily measured. The Environment Protection Act 1986, it provided, asked the government to set up measures for improving environment and set standards for inspection of industrial units and extra. There was the Public Liability Insurance Act 1991, which was passed. It was passed to provide the relief to the person affected by accidents. While if someone accidentally dies while handling such type of hazardous substances, so it deals with the insurance, what the compensation has to be paid. Then the National Environment Appellate Authority Act 1997. So this deals with the safeguards of the Environment Act, and it also deals with the hearing of appeals regarding these issues. So all these appeals and other things are heard in the National Green Tribunal by this Act of 2010. So all the issues regarding this leakage and the environmental concerns are heard by National Green Tribunal. Like Bhopal gas tragedy and Vishakhapatnam gas leak, these are tried by National Green Tribunal, as I said earlier. By the Environment Protection Act of 1986, if an offence is committed by a company, every person directly in charge or responsible will be deemed guilty unless he proves that the offence was committed without his or her knowledge, or that he had exercised all due diligence to prevent the commission of such an offence. So what's next? Okay, so later on in 2007, as we say, National Disaster Management Guidelines were issued by NDMA. So issued some guidelines related to chemical disasters. So what are the various exercises that NDMA has to take place when such chemical disasters take place? So according to the National Chemical Disaster Management Guidelines drawn by NDMA, industrial units using hazardous chemicals as raw materials in processes, products and waste with inflammable exposures, toxics, will be required to have on-site and off-site emergency plans in place. So what are these toxic? So in easy language, it says that if a company is a factory is using some hazardous substances to get the end product, the final product, they must have some emergency plans for both on-site and off-site processes. If anything happens, there should be a plan to overcome that. So these were some of the headlines that were in the news. This was like Vishakhapatnam gas leak, AF airlifts 8.3 tons of chemicals, and even this was 132 animals were killed. All this. So, as I said, when this incident happened, a lot of us, were thinking that an incident like Bhopal gas tragedy shouldn't be repeated. So it happened in 1894. Like in Vishakhapatnam, stearin was the gas that was released. So here in Bhopal gas tragedy, methyl isocyanate was released. So what happened was that it got leaked from one of the tanks in the factory, and it result more than 2,000, around 3,000 people were killed, and some were physically disabled and affected in several forms. So, what is methyl isocyanate? So, it is a chemical that is used in the manufacture of polyurethane foam, pesticides, and plastics. Its molecular formula is CH3NCO, molecular weight of 57.05 grams. So, maybe this is asked sometimes. So, what is this chemical formula or molecular weight? It is used for the production of pesticides. This is important. It is used for the production of pesticides and plastics. So, if you like this video, if you found it informative, please do subscribe to my channel. Thank you.